era where action movies are often rely on too much CGI, spectacle, and universe building, The Furious strips the genre down to its purest form. A simple story, unforgettable fight choreography, and relentless momentum. And the film stars Ji Miao as Wang Wei. I hope I said that correctly. An ordinary tradesman whose life is shattered when his young daughter is kidnapped by a ruthless trafficking organization. Typical, stolen, taken, that kind of whole thing. And when the police refuse to help, which is diabolical, by the way, Wade takes matters into his own hands, teaming up with investigative journalist, and I think his name was like Navin or something like that, the guy from Mortal Kombat, whose own wife has disappeared while investigating the same criminal network. That was a weird name, but yeah, the movie's basic. The plot is basic. It's giving us, point A, point B, two characters, one missing situation, another missing situation, and they're trying to find the answers. I think that's a great way to move on the movie. I will say that the story, like I said, is basic, straight to the point, but that's the best part about it, in my opinion. Now, the simple story, and it really just knows its purpose. And like the plot of the Furious, like it wasn't trying to reinvent the action genre. If anything, I say it's one of the best choreographed action movies since The Raid. But at its heart, it's a straightforward rescue mission fueled by a father's love and an unrelenting desire for justice. Rather than burying the audience in like this complicated, insane mythology of endless exposition, Tenet, I'm looking at you because that movie was way more complicated than it needed to be. The film just keeps its focus exactly where it belongs, on the journey and the action. That's exactly what you came to the movie to see anyway. So leave it there. And that simplicity becomes one of its greatest strengths. Now, every scene pushes Wayne closer to his daughter, and every confrontation raises the stakes without ever losing sight of the emotional reason behind the violence. That's probably one of its greatest aspects is that, like, the violence is there, but the violence feels necessary because this man has a daughter he is trying to save from a child trafficking ring. And let's be honest, the action is absolutely the star of the movie. You go into this movie, you're going for the action. I remember I first saw the trailer months back before the movie came out. It took me a long time to review the film. I just didn't have time. And I remember just thinking to myself, my God, this movie looks awesome. And that is not even to say that other action movies don't, but this one just looked so different into its own thing. And I thought it was the guy. I thought like Equal Ways had something to do with it or something like that, but no. But unfortunately, he didn't. But the movie is crazy. And the choreography, the action choreographies, they deliver fight scenes. They're both brutal but beautifully staged. The camera stays wide enough, right, to showcase that athleticism, and the performers are able to just have every punch, kick, throw, strike, and they all land with impact, and it feels hit. It feels felt. And the critics have even praised the film. It's blood-soaked spectacle of breathtakingly. It is just this. It's like it is this breathtaking martial arts choreography, and it deserves to be put up there. It just is so well done. Some of these takes are long, and I'm like, yo, if they mess these takes up, they got to start this over from scratch, and they got to do the whole thing. They got to run it again, right? And it's like, yo, imagine being the one person that messed up like a single step or something, and they're like, run it again. Like that's crazy, and like every set piece is crazy. Like one set piece is like he's at like one little set in the warehouse, and then the last set piece is like a two-floor brawl in like a police station. You know what I mean? It's like it is definitely crazy. But the team between the two main stars is great. I think they become one of the strongest action duos of the year. I think that it is just so well put together, especially when you know, as Jay, as a reveal is that he can't talk. He's mute. And Joe can talk a bunch, so he kind of bounces off of him. They bounce off each other. They make for a really good duo. And although The Furious is packed with like intense martial arts sequences, it never really forgot the emotional core of why we're here in the first place. The unconditional love of being a parent, the human trafficking, and that redemption through action that just lands and hits so hard, even for people who scream for different types of cinema. But this movie was just absolutely worth going to see in theaters. Now, unfortunately, I don't think The Furious did as well as it could have at the box office. I mean, I thought it was going to open up to, some real crazy numbers, but it really didn't, I don't think. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, 36 million. And what is the budget? The budget is 20 million. So technically, the Furious would be considered like a failure, and that's unfortunate because honestly, I think it deserved to be a success. And very few movies like this exist, and I would like to see more movies like this get the praise they deserve and the money they deserve at the box office. But it's very much a flip of a coin. Now, there was no CGI pretty much at all. So practical work pretty much fits this entire T over CGI. That pacing is crazy. And then like the chemistry and that emotional story, it all has like a nice turn of events. And honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, man, maybe some of these fight scenes went too long. But then somebody would do something real crazy, and I'd be like, all right, keep fighting, just keep mixing each other. And the dynamic between the dad and the daughter is sad at first, but then the movie plays itself out and it feels earned at the end. I feel like he actually earned his daughter's like belief that he does love her at the end. Now, The Furious is a reminder that sometimes like the best action films don't need complicated plots. They need some feeling, they need some purpose, you know what I mean? They need something like that. We don't really get that a lot with these action films anymore. And the breathtaking martial arts is just like very committed performances from the actors, the stunt guys, and it is just a really good experience in the theater. And I definitely think that it's a shame that this movie is technically going to be considered a box office flop, given the fact that it just didn't do the numbers that I thought it would otherwise would have done. I was hoping for this to hit at least 80 to 90 million, and it didn't even do that, and it's not going to. I'm pretty sure it's out of theaters, and I kind of blame the studios and the theaters because they were barely playing this joint anywhere here in Pennsylvania. Like I'm over here in Philly, and I barely could find a screening for the movie when it was pretty much out for like its second week. So I kind of blame the theaters and the studios for that one. But all in all, I would definitely say watch The Furious. I say if you like a good, solid action film, you just want to watch people get punched and kicked and stomped and everything, then this is the movie for you. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave that here. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I'll see y'all on the next one.